Principal Larissa Weems, met her end in the final episode of Season 1. But was that really the end of her story? With Season 2 just around the corner, let's take a closer look at why Principal Weems might actually return. But first, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Most people watching aren't subscribed yet, so don't miss out on everything coming next. From the very first episode, Larissa Weems wasn't just the head mistress of Nevermore Academy. She was the one holding everything together, a symbol of balance and control. A former classmate of Morticia Addams and her quiet rival back in the day, Weems always gave off the feeling that there was a deeper story behind her polished exterior, and that's exactly why her sudden exit at the end of Season 1 still doesn't sit right. It wasn't rushed, it wasn't empty, but for a character so important, so central, and honestly so loved by fans, it felt strangely abrupt. Yes, she dies in the final episode after finally teaming up with Wednesday in a bold attempt to take down the real threat behind the murders at Nevermore. Once Wednesday uncovers that Marilyn Thornhill is actually Laurel Gates, Laurel injects Weems with deadly nightshade. And from that point on, nothing. No mention, no closure. There's no funeral, no real reaction from the school. No faculty member steps in to replace her during Season 1, even though recent Season 2 teasers show her replacement, Professor Barry Dort. But back then, total silence. No speech, no moment of mourning. Was that just a creative choice, or was it a subtle clue meant to keep us guessing until Season 2? Let's not forget, Larissa Weems is a shapeshifter, a skilled one. She used that power to protect her students and her school, even from themselves when needed. We saw her take on different forms throughout the season. But the real twist, when she transformed into Tyler as part of a plan with Wednesday to finally expose Laurel Gates. Weems wasn't just a supporter, she was a strategist, a key player in the bigger picture. And maybe, just maybe, she still has one last move left. Shows like Wednesday don't leave narrative loose ends by accident. Every omission, every quiet moment, every unanswered question usually serves a purpose, and when it comes to Principal Weems' supposed death, there are way too many blanks to ignore. We saw her get poisoned by Laurel Gates. The camera lingers on her expression, the shock, and then nothing. No follow-up scene, no body, no mention of the authorities, and honestly, barely a word about her afterward. Another strange detail, there's no official replacement. No character steps in to take over as head of Nevermore by the end of Season 1. The school's leadership, something the show treated as essential, just disappears, which kind of makes sense if that leadership didn't vanish, but instead went underground. And then there's the most suspicious clue of all, the silence from the show's creators. Al Guff and Miles Miller, Wednesday's showrunners, have given multiple interviews since the show premiered. Not once have they confirmed Weems' death outright. Their usual response? Nothing's impossible in this universe. Even off-screen, the clues keep stacking up. In a December 2022 interview with Entertainment Weekly, Gwendoline Christie made it pretty clear that, in her view, Larissa Weems isn't the kind of character who would just disappear. She described Weems as too powerful, too skilled to go down that easily, and suggested that the idea of her actually being dead doesn't quite fit with the world the show has built. Then, in May 2023, Jenna Ortega had her own take during a Marie Claire interview. When asked whether she truly believed Principal Weems was dead, she reacted with saying she didn't accept that as the end of Gwendoline's character. Neither actress confirmed anything, but both left the door wide open. And to fans, that just adds fuel to the theory. Weems may be gone from view, but she's far from out of the game. The show left a gap, the cast left some doubt, and the universe of Wednesday, it's built to keep possibilities alive, especially since we never actually saw what happened after Laurel stuck that syringe. So now, the real question is, how could she come back? The most talked about theory among fans starts with one big idea. Principal Larissa Weems didn't die, she vanished in the only way that could actually keep her safe, by faking her own death. We already know Weems is a shapeshifter. Throughout Season 1, she flawlessly took on other forms, even using that ability to protect Wednesday when it mattered most. And in the final episode, when Wednesday leaves Nevermore after everything goes down, she's picked up by Lurch, but something about him feels off. In the very first episode, Lurch is shown with heterochromia, two different colored eyes, but in the final scene, both eyes are the same color. On top of that, his facial expression is different. Early in the series, Lurch appears expressionless and detached. In the finale, he seems more alert. more aware. His stare is focused. This shift didn't go unnoticed. Some fans believe this version of Lurch isn't actually Lurch at all. The leading theory that it's Principal Weems in disguise using her shape-shifting powers to take his form and secretly watch over Wednesday as she leaves Nevermore. Of course, others have brushed it off as a continuity error, but in a show like Wednesday, where every detail is intentional and nothing is truly random, a visual change like that feels like more than just a slip-up, especially when it happens right after Weems's supposed death. So, what if it is her? But maybe the real question was never, did Weems die? But who actually did? We know Weems is a shapeshifter, but what if she's not the only one? This theory flips the whole scene on its head, suggesting that someone else may have taken her place in those final moments. What if another shapeshifter, an ally, helped her pull off the ultimate deception? According to the theory, this second shapeshifter may have first disguised themselves as Tyler to fool Laurel, and then as Principal Weems. The person Laurel poisoned? Not Weems, just the decoy. The real Weems? She escaped unharmed, underground, and possibly disguised as Lurch in the final scene. As cold and calculated as that may sound, it actually lines up with Weems' character. She's always operated behind the scenes, subtly pulling strings to protect the school and keep chaos in check. Back in episode 7, we saw just how in control she was with her transformation abilities. So why wouldn't she use that same skill for a last resort survival tactic? And to this day, the show never confirms what happened to her body. There's no funeral, no burial, no investigation. She's just gone. And that absence is not nothing. It's a key piece of the mystery. But then came something new, something from the trailers and teasers for season 2, a new head of Nevermore, Professor Barry Dort, played by Steve Buscemi. He's got a totally different energy, his own motives, and he says things like this.
Her repugnant devotion to all things normie was a disaster, but I relished every opportunity to right her wrongs.
That's a direct jab at Weems' leadership. He's not just replacing her, he's rewriting her legacy. But here's where things get really wild. Some fans believe he might not be who he says he is either. What if this whole thing, including Weems' death, was a strategic move to clear the way for Barry Dort to take over while the real Weems watches from the shadows? Or, and hear us out, what if Barry Dort is Weems? Or what if she didn't just fake her death? She reinvented herself as a new figure of authority inside Nevermore. It's a bold theory, but in a world full of shapeshifters, who's really who? If Larissa Weems is still alive, whether she's hiding, pretending to be Lurch at the Addams mansion, or even taking on a new identity like Barry Dort at Nevermore, her return wouldn't just be exciting, it would be crucial, especially because in the new teaser that introduces the new headmaster, she's explicitly mentioned. Weems was never just a principal, she was the balance, someone who understood both the secrets of the school and the danger of exposing its students too much. She always tried to keep things in check. Her absence creates a vacuum both institutional and emotional, and that is exactly where season 2 picks up. Barry Dort, as shown in the trailers, is all about breaking from the past. He's rigid, authoritarian, and he makes it clear he wants to correct the mistakes of the previous administration. But what mistakes? Weems was strict, sure, but never oppressive. She would have never allowed Nevermore to turn into some kind of surveillance state. With Barry Dort, it feels like that balance has been completely thrown off. So if Weems does return, we're looking at a clash of opposites. Barry Dort's harsh control versus Weems' quiet intelligence. And somewhere in the middle, Wednesday. Remember, Wednesday is being stalked as revealed in the season 1 finale and the teasers for season 2. And if there's anyone who could investigate that threat without drawing attention, it's Larissa Weems. If she's alive, she could already be working in the shadows, watching, gathering information, waiting for the perfect moment to reappear. Especially if she is the one disguised as Lurch. So now it's your turn. Do you think Principal Weems is still alive? Drop your theory in the comments and scroll through to see what other people are saying. And if you want to catch all the Easter eggs I spotted in season 1, click right here and I'll see you in just a few seconds.